I'm Chris, and I've been doing up Sarah Ann, an 18-foot day sailor, ready for some adventurous cruising around Tasmania's sheltered waters. I've got a lot to cover in this video. I had to compress 4.5 hours of video into just 20 minutes. So here goes. This is one of those very precious and somewhat tense moments when you've got your 130 kilograms of engine suspended from a rafter. Plenty of brawn and no brain. That feels so good. It's like having an impacted wisdom tooth taken out. It's time to start preparing the engine bed for painting. And a little bit of structural work to do there. So I've still got some fittings to remove. With the magic of some blocks of wood and quite a lot of epoxy, and it will look like brand new. Just about ready to size all these up. The first time with the Volvo led to quite a satisfactory result really, but it just proved to be a bit awkward managing all the controls on an old engine like that. You might be wondering why I'm using a hacksaw for this. Creating a bit of relief here. When I put the raw water intake on, I made a mistake. I was a bit concerned that the water pump was a bit weak on the Volvo, and I wanted to reduce the restriction, so rather than the vortex that you get if it's pointing towards the stern, I decided to point it forwards, and then I started having dreams about forcing water up through the system and into the engine. As you can see here, it's pointed forward. I'll get a little bit of heat onto this. When I look at the amount of sealant that I had on this, I was lucky to even be able to get it out. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I guess I was thinking that I'd never have to take it out. I'm not going to go quite as heavy-handed this time. For some reason, my wife is sick of the word epoxy. Now, with the marine conversion, some of the things are not as accessible as they should be. Could be 5 years since it's last serviced. The oil filter doesn't come off without removing the alternator first. And you can see there's a fair bit of built up in there, so I'll give that a flush out with fresh water. Good morning. I've been servicing the Kubota. So I've drained the oil out of it. I'm going to flush out the cooling system. And over here, just repaired the cart. And I'm about to lift up the Volvo. Well, that'll be interesting. That's a bit of a test of the Gorilla cart there. Had to do a bit of welding to strengthen the towing handle on it and pump the tyres up to 35 psi, and it's settled on there pretty well. I think it can cope with that. I am a bit prone to the Homer Simpson method, which you can probably guess that involves a bit of force here and there. I'm wearing a little reminder to be sun safe on my nose there today. This is a complete game changer. And now the old engine, the Volvo, is out of the boat and sitting on a trolley, and the new engine, the Kubota, is suspended there in the chain block, and I've just got a couple more little things to do, which include replacing the oil that I just drained out of it, and then she's going to go in there. So I've just been grabbing an opportunity when I can here and there, looking after my beautiful wife and doing some work on my mistress at the same time. This is how I plan to align the motor. I'm going to use the flange here against the Polyflex mount, which is the red mount on the back of the engine here, this one here, and I'll use a feeler gauge top and bottom, left and right, until I get it as perfectly aligned as you can. Last night I left the workshop as a very happy boy. I managed to kind of dry fit the engine and in the space, and it required a little bit of woodpecker work, but not too much considering. So today I'm going back down into the cockpit and I'm going to see what I can do about sorting out the alignment. And this coupling from Polyflex, which is the original one off the Volvo installation, fortunately I was able to reuse it. It's what I'm going to use to get the alignment how I want it. So I'll jiggle it into position, get the height and the tilt right, and then I'll get the feeler gauges out and get it as close as I can with the feeler gauges, and then any misalignment beyond that should easily be able to be accommodated by the Polyflex coupling. it's not underwater, it just needs to be sealed so that if you get a bit of water sitting under those engine mounts. Yeah, it's truly hard to know how far you go with perfectionism. Momentous occasion. It's the last day of 2024 and my goal for today is to fire up the engine. Ooh, I don't know whether I'll get there or not, but I'm going to try my best. But it dropped in pretty well, and now it's very close to its final location, and I have to finish bolting down the engine mounts and do some adjustments to get the alignment just spot on. Then I can go to setting up the fuel system, the exhaust system, and the cooling system, and the electrical system. Looks as if I got it fairly accurate just sitting it down there. I've got the motor all mounted and set up now. I had trouble getting it in because it was 20mm higher on the blocks and it just wouldn't fit underneath here. So I mounted it, and it's kind of on long legs, which I think is going to cause a problem. So as a friend said, if it doesn't look right, it's probably not right. So I'm going to take the mounts out one at a time. 3 mounts will hold it in position. So in order to put a 20mm block under each one. So I've been round and lifted 3 out of the 4 engine mounts. I put about a 15 to 20mm block under each one. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. And of course I've left the best for last. This is how I'm setting it up. So putting in this case a 20mm block. I've packed up all 4 of those now and set them up. I've just got a couple of bolts that got to come out and epoxy them back in. But oh, it fought me every inch of the way. Oh my, oh my. The whole engine is now sitting down nicely on those mounts so that there shouldn't be too much jellyfish movement there. So on average it was 2 hours per mount. As I'm using up all the days that I've got between now and the beginning of the Wooden Boat Festival in Hobart, temptation keeps coming along to cut corners. I didn't previously have a raw water strainer. There was one came with the boat, but the spigot had broken off it. It was very weak. And if the spigot breaks off your raw water strainer, if the seacock is open, then that's really game over. It's actually getting a little bit warm in the workshop here today. It's all of 25 degrees outside. Perfect day. Perfect day. Should be on the water. Shouldn't be in the workshop. Now, I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to fit all of this system in here, but as it turns out, the engine is about 6 inches lower, so it has really nice clearance underneath the fuel tank. A bit more bilge fishing required. What can I say about that? Just as well I'm pretty good at plywood repairs nowadays. Silly boy. Panic for nothing. Well, we should be getting some fuel through there now. Still can't wipe the smile off my face with that engine. What a big project that has been, and I've just got it temporarily plumbed into the exhaust. That's a 2-minute job to reconnect that. That's all running, and now I've got the controls there as well. Now the issue with the controls is that I could Sikaflex this on, which would make it waterproof, but you've still got all the individual gauges, including a blank, which are not sealed. So if I get a wave in the cockpit, it's going to not only destroy my instruments, but potentially it could flood my boat. So I'm going to build a frame around here, and it'll protect it so that you can't break the key off, and it'll keep the weather out and keep the sunlight off it. And I'm going to put a Perspex shield across it. The perfect piece of Moran, the donor boat for the engine, which is a really beautiful piece of fiddleback blackwood. This is my secret weapon from the flooring trade. It hasn't come through, which is good, so it just gets it down low enough that I can dress the timber. I need a 6mm rebate in this frame. I think the end is in sight now. Finally can stop talking about engines and engine installs and things of that nature. I'm on my way back into the workshop. This is my junk pile along here. I've got my picking pile. Need to get all that sorted before my son and daughter-in-law get back. It's a bit of a chilly start to the day today.
I've tried over and over to be happy again, but I can't seem to get over thinking this will never end. Too many beautiful nights I spend my time alone. Can't seem to have an appetite for getting up out the door, but I'll get my shit together one of these days, and I'll start to feel better. Maybe I can change, and I'll realize it's not.
Yes, we did it. And there she is, parked in the marshes.
I've tried every morning to wake up an optimist, but all I can do today is just try to exist. Too many years gone to waste on what was never me, waiting for things to change, never knowing what I need. But I'll get my shit together one of these days, and I'll start to feel better. Maybe I can change.
Fast track, a couple of weeks, and I'm heading down to Bruny Island for a shakeout cruise. It's been a very long season since I put Sarah Ann into the shed for what was to be a 2 to 3 week minor refurb.
And I'll find a way to be okay when the world falls down on me. I'm gonna leave this place for another state where I can finally be free. I gotta believe that I'll get my shit together one of these days.
You may have noticed the monitor sitting on the boat in a few places. My wife has PD and I'm her full-time carer. It's called The Long Goodbye, and it's the saddest thing I've ever endured. But from time to time I have the blessing of being able to go out in Sarah Ann. It's my place of deep meditation and healing. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the journey with me. The sea is my mistress, and pretty soon I'll be out there doing some adventurous cruising around Tasmania's sheltered waters. You're very welcome to join me.